To record a good voiceover, your room plays a huge role into how your room sounds and how much reverb it gives you on the recording. Before, we were making a small booth with blankets, but it's too time consuming. I wanted to make a permanent setup that looks good but also sounds good. Not a dead room, completely covered with foam without life. Basically, I wanted a well-balanced natural sound in the room. Clap your hands and see if you hear echo. If yes, then your room needs a bit of work. Popular option on the internet is to collect egg boxes and stick them to the walls and ceilings, but that's not the look I'm after. The first and most obvious thing for me were heavy curtains. Quick and beautiful solution. Metal rails from IKEA are great. Wheels are smooth and closing and opening curtains is a pleasure. I had to make curtains short on the bottom so they don't touch the floor. You can make curtains wavy if you add this metal clip, so it will absorb sound even more. Be aware that it will make them smaller. Personal trick is to add a bit of foam on the last wheel, so they stay fixed next to the wall. Same time I touched a lamp in the middle of the room, and a very similar lamp will be next to the bed. This is more for decorational purposes. Straight after installing curtains, the sound in the room changed completely, and it doesn't sound like in a cave. When we record anything, we close curtains completely, even if it's a daytime. Glass on the window is a perfect mirror for the audio waves. Same thing for the lamps. While walking in the hardware store, we spotted sound-absorbent foam with an adhesive layer on it. What could be a better way to improve acoustics, we thought. We bought 3 pieces for €10 each, and that would separate the desk area and make it visually like a working station. Installation is quite an easy process. Simple long bread knife will work just fine without a lighter. My brother pushed me for an extra effort to paint the electric plug in black. I do really like how it came out at the end.
Actually, it could be a really good trick. You buy the cheapest one and you paint the color you want.
Foam is really sticky, so start from one corner and gradually remove protective film as you go.
Perfecto.
After a few months, I've decided to add a bit more foam above the desk, but this was a bit more challenging, as meanwhile I've installed a lamp just above the desk, and I need to cut out the hole in the foam. Glue is really sticky, and as soon as you touch the ceiling, it sticks, so everything becomes more tricky. I was doing it by myself, which wasn't helping, and no matter how good you are, you will need to cut away a little bit of foam. After some time, the new idea came out. Wooden brick wall. I bought some rough material, 16 meters long lumber with 8 centimeters side. It took me a couple of hours to sand all of them. For this project, I specifically bought this bandsaw. To my disappointment, it was the wrong tool for the job, as the band was bending and wasn't cutting in a straight line, and it just didn't have enough power. Maybe if you buy a bigger model with more power, you can do it, but this needs to be tested. The next day, we had a more serious and much more dangerous tool, bench saw. Unfortunately, cutting the wood this way would generate a lot of waste.
Ready?
Yeah, attack! The amount of dust in the air is incredible. We collected 4 bags of sawdust from the floor. It's so easy to chop off your fingers with this tool if you're distracted, so full concentration is a must. Maybe industrial vacuum as well.
How's it going?
Oh my god, too much. It's a simple task which you repeat 1,000 times, so you will have time to master the skill. It took me 2 hours to set up and clean the balcony, compared to only 4 hours of cutting. Not ideal. Every brick needs sanding, and it takes about 20 seconds to sand all 6 sides of each brick, so about 6 hours of non-stopping, consistent sanding. By looking at these bricks, it reminds me of those guys who are building swimming pools with their hands, and filling them up too. After removing the mirror, we separated the wall into 4 sections and work on each section as a separate mini wall. To do that, we separated every size of bricks into 4 piles as well. For this job, we are using a glue for porous materials. You can use hot glue as well, which should be working even better. Is it challenging?
Not really. Like fun, but you just need to have your kind of own strategy here. So I'm not gonna tell you my strategy. No.
My strategy is go fast, without thinking much.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the secret is not to think too much, especially at the beginning. Just put like 20 bricks of different sizes. Some of the bricks are special ones, so it's important to distribute them well. That's enough for today. We run out of wood and the glue.
Run out of everything.
Yeah, we're still missing 150 pieces to do.
And some power, some energy.
Yeah, also. A few days later, I bought more wood, cut it and cleaned the balcony all over again. To make the wall look great in the evening, it needed a great light. We will use the same 8x8 lumber as for the wall. With a hand milling cutter, we cut out a gap and will place a LED strip inside. In order to attach the wood to the ceiling, we just put a lot of the glue. To my surprise, it held really strong, straight from touching the ceiling. Ideally, the lumber should be one long piece of lumber, but I've made a mistake, and now it's two same size pieces. In order to hide LED light, which you could easily see from the ground, we cut off one of the corners of the lumber, so the wooden beam will be inclined and would direct the light on the wall.
Okay, that's it.
That was last piece. Finally, the wall is done.
Oh, top.
Bomba. Next day, quick housekeeping on every block to remove any dust and prepare blocks for painting. I've started to protect the wood in the top right corner, and the wood was absorbing ridiculous amount of transparent protective paint. What I didn't like that it darkened the color of the wood, so I stopped. But I do really love the smell of cut wood. My thing. Few weeks later, we bought 2 rolls of thin 2mm cork, which is usually used for insulating the roofs. Total of 20 meters. This cork has also decent -18 dB sound insulation properties. Everything that is rolled will be deformed at the beginning, so you want to open the roll at least one day before. We cut it to the right sizes and put something heavy on the edges, so it starts to take a new shape.
Next stage, sealing. The idea is to make this cork
Material,
inserts here. Hopefully it will reduce the noise.
but also it makes the room more beautiful. After the first one, we realized that it's a quite challenge. You need to put thin layers of silicone instead of putting the big one, bulky ones, because silicone goes through the cork.
And it's always a good idea to have a platform. Better you work, better you can manage it.
Another lesson is to go with the silicone really next to the edges. Yeah, thin layers everywhere, because otherwise you will have like a hanging carpet.
Artist. Ready for the last one?
Enough. Before, we were thinking to buy 1 meter wide ones. And I see how much hassle to put half a meter. 1 meter would be really pain in the ass.
Happy with the result?
So. I think we did the wrong thing about the silicone. I think you need to use some like complete glue.
Like a proper glue that covers the whole thing? Or maybe just dual tape, like a nice dual tape, I don't know, something.
But then it became expensive dual tape. It took 3.5 hours without cleaning now. I think acoustic improved a little bit.
Yeah.
And to cover the ends of the cork strips, we will use this lumber, painted in dark gray, and attach it on the same glue. Not bad. Changing my wardrobe was a dream of last year. I really don't like those colors. To save money, I decided to paint it, and it was a great decision, even if it took me like 6 or 7 hours. This didn't improve acoustics, but just improved the look of the room. Link about the wardrobe in the description. Before, I had mirror on this wall, but I'm thinking to utilize it to put it on this wardrobe, just like this.
Seems a bit too big, no?
Mirror in the room can add visual space, but it's not going to improve the sound of the room, as it reflects everything, and actually you should avoid them or cover them with a blanket. For cutting, we will use this special glass cutter, but you need to know how to use it. After this lesson, we headed for a more conventional way, simply attaching an IKEA mirror. The last empty wall was nagging me for a mounted list. To improve acoustics in the room and make it more eye-pleasing, decision was to hang a carpet on it. The plan was to attach one wooden rail on the carpet with the nails, and the second one on the wall, with the 45 degrees cut out, so the rail of the carpet will be sitting inside of the rail on the wall. At the end, they will be fixed with some screws between themselves. To make that 45 degrees cut, at the beginning we've tried to use a jigsaw, but that is not working, as the blade is bending and you have poor results. We were forced to pull out a big bench saw to the balcony. This worked perfectly, but it took an extra half an hour to set up and clean after. Put a lot of nails with 5 centimeters distance between them, so at least the carpet won't slip down. Yeah.
So we're making 5 holes in order to screw this panel to the wall.
So you need the corner in order that the other side where the carpet is will be hooking here, and then you will have another screw coming from the top to fix them together.
So as you can see, the job is done. We're halfway, so we need to put the wooden rails to finish the wall.
That's more decorational stuff.
41. So I'm making these small wooden panels in order to fit them to the wall. We'll paint them in white color, and on top we'll put these rails.
We cut the edges of the wooden panels, so it's almost flat next to the wall and it goes behind the wardrobe. Also, it's just looking better.
Every piece by itself, it looks very wobbly and not secure, but like this, feels quite solid. So now we need to make the holes to fix it to the wall. And we cut these corners, as you can see, to make a nice smooth end of each line.
First, we just put the panels to the wall to mark the drilling points, and then remove the panels for drilling. It's done.
Looks alright.
Alright, that's the key word. Feel like it's too much gap between them. Overall, carpet and the whole thing.
Oh, it's cool.
Easy solution would be to glue them, but unfortunately even a thin wood panel was slowly sliding down. So at the end we had to put them on a small nails and clean the silicone. There are also alternative ways to insulate the room. Canvas painting looks good and works well. You can take any blanket or a towel and put it on the wooden frame. There are soundproofing wallpaper as well as soundproofing paint, but I'm not sure how effective they are and if they're reasonably priced. If you have really noisy neighbors, then you might consider another layer of insulation with a second pair of walls. Not very cheap. Be aware of choosing colors, as wooden wool is pretty similar to the skin color, and when you're recording anything then it's tricky to color correct after. Same thing goes for the curtains. Pick the color that is a bit different from your skin tone. Another thing is the carpet on the floor. It plays a huge role in sound of your room, so pick the biggest size which fits in your room. All of the materials chosen were with the purpose of improving acoustics in the room. Wooden bricks diffuse the sound, carpets absorbing the waves. Curtains cover the whole wall and made of thick material. Ceiling is improved thanks to foam and cork. The weakest side of the room is the wardrobe, but if you open the doors, then it becomes a strong point. All the clothes inside will absorb the sound waves and the large wooden panels will diffuse it. I do like how the room turned up and it feels much more cozy, much more quiet and intimate. For sure it became a little bit less bright during the day as I covered all white walls. But I do love how the room looks, especially in the evening, with all the lights around the room and different scenes. The most important thing that I don't need the blankets anymore to record a voiceover, and that's important. It's an extra small step to remove procrastination. Bingo! With small changes on small budget, you can improve the sound of your room and how your room looks like and feels like. Stop watching video now and take some action to improve the sound of your place. Knowledge without application is useless, but I hope I gave you an idea in case you're planning for now. That's it. Liking and commenting on this video helps a lot for the channel and it keeps me motivated to make more videos. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.